Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Valvoline and Sparesbox. Don't forget Benny5 on checkout. This week we are fitting the Nitrous Express system to the Cresta. Something we've been lacking is spool time, so in order to aid quicker spooling, we're going to be going with the NX system. Now this is a dry system, not a wet system, which what a lot of you guys are probably typically used to seeing. The reason for that is the Haltech Elite can actually control all the nitrous. It'll add fuel when required. We are also going to be controlling the nitrous solenoid directly through the Elite 2500 as well. So plenty to come with that. We've already actually fitted a few parts of the system. We shot a whole episode yesterday, and as usual, the GoPro 11 has completely let us down. So we've swapped back to the Sony for the rest of this series. We are going to go back to Mo's Speed Shop yesterday. We were there yesterday where we shot the episode. We actually pulled the box out of the Cresta yesterday. We've also retorqued the flex plate bolts to the crank, as well as put new bolts between the flex plate and the converter. Yeah, we spent a whole day on that yesterday, so massive thanks to the guys at Mo's Speed Shop in Dallas, Georgia as well. They've helped us out immensely already in this trip. Massive shout out also to Mike Finnegan, who's been housing our cars and just an absolute legend, putting us in contact with people like Mo's. Also went back to his shed yesterday to allow us to get some more stuff out of there. So yeah, we're going to be diving into this thing. Matty's already started to pull some of the interior out, so today we're going to be mounting the bottle and wiring the system, so let's dive on into it. So here's where we're at with the Nitrous Express nitrous kit install. We've already got our fogger drilled and tapped into the compressor cover. We've got a 75 horsepower jet between obviously our Dash 3 AN and the fogger. It's a really nice little thing. The pill just literally slips in there, so it's a pretty cool setup. We didn't actually use the supplied nitrous kit line to go between the solenoid and the fogger, mainly because just the length didn't work for us. I really didn't want to put the solenoid in a hot spot of the bay. Obviously having to put it close to the turbo, there's a lot of heat in that general area, so I've actually placed it up here behind the brake master cylinder. We've obviously had this heat shield for quite a while now, so we've got that in there. Typically nitrous lines will come as a completely crimped line assembly, as you'll see when we run the line between the tank or the bottle and the solenoid. However, basically the reason for that is because the bottle pressure is so high. We can see up to sort of 1200-1300 psi bottle pressure. So yeah, you definitely want to be running the proper crimped nitrous line between the solenoid and the bottle. However, going between the solenoid and the fogger, because it's not ever going to see super high pressures like that, the racework stuff's fine. So we've got obviously Dash 3 coming from the solenoid, running through the heat shield. It's following basically the same path as all our boost control plumbing, and going up to the compressor housing now, as you can see. So we're going to keep plugging away and pull out some interior, run a main supply line from front to back. Then we're going to mount the bottle, and then we can start playing electronics. And when I say we, I mean Matty, because he's the Haltech wiring wizard. So we'll keep on trucking. I've just got our bottle brackets mounted, and amazingly there was already some nutsets in the floor that were 90mm spacing, and it's exactly the correct spacing for the bracket. So we're going to put this thing in now. It's a pretty big bottle. It's definitely bigger than what we really need. However, I'm trying to get a full week out of this bottle, which should be pretty achievable given that we're only using it for spooling, not for trying to make it as a true power adder. That may change in the future. So I thought I'd just gear up once and grab the stuff. Like I kind of always say, try and future-proof your builds. Don't have to buy everything 2 or 3 times over. So going to chuck this sucker in now, make sure the brackets actually do line up with the cylinder and that the gas line fits and everything's sweet in the final install position. So Matty's got all of the wiring run down now to the PD16. So basically just need to ground that off under the dash. We do already have an existing ground point that's already pretty well cleaned off, so should go together pretty well. Then basically just got to put one pin into the PD16 and play around with a little bit of ECU strategy and see how we go. So we'll pop back in a minute when Matty's on the laptop and keep it going. So what do you got going on in here, Matty?
Alright, so we've just wired up the nitrous solenoid for the dry kit because of course we can add a bit of fuel with the Elite ECU. So we've just run it through the PD16, we run all the wires. We're now just going to check the output wire, make sure that we've done everything correct, and we'll turn it on and off, and then we'll start setting up the strategy for the nitrous. So I'll just go here and we'll turn it on.
So you can just hear it click now. Yep.
Yep. Off, on, off.
Cool. Can definitely hear it. Mint.
Definitely working.
Awesome.
Ready for that 175 shot.
Yeah, we'll just jam all the gas into it.
That's right.
Hopefully we don't explode a plenum.
Nah.
That's what I'm actually worried about.
Nah, we should be right. Just
Yeah.
a little shot just to spool it up, help that converter
Yeah.
tight now.
Yeah, but tight converter equals fast passes, so
It definitely went a
I
lot
was
faster.
definitely on the train of changing that stator to a slightly looser one, but I like the efficiency of it. When it works fantastically, so I'd rather stick with that than almost play around and compromise, because it worked flawlessly. On the cold day it was mint, and then literally just having that 10 degrees more ambient temp, it just didn't love it. So
Yeah.
happy days. We've got the electronic system set up now. We've just got to play a little bit of strategy.
Yep.
Got to throw the back seat in still. Back seat base is still out. Obviously we had a lot of the trim out to run the nitrous line front to back. We've also obviously got the cylinder in now. We've got our line the correct length. Got our bottle brackets in. Amazingly fluked the mounting holes for this. There was already some 90mm spaced holes in the floor, and it even had the correct offset from our fuel cell surround box. So happy days. We're definitely kicking some goals today. Not quite the conditions I was hoping to be working on a car, literally in a bare car park in the sun, but that's the joys. Hopefully you're not getting motion sickness with me steering this camera everywhere. We've basically finished up the install of our NX Nitrous kit, so hopefully that will allow us to be able to spool the turbo a little bit earlier, especially considering the hot conditions that we're going to be racing in this week. So basically we're going to be packing up now, and tomorrow we start the journey to Virginia, and then the racing starts for Midwest Drag. It's going to be pretty cool, but yeah, pretty excited to show you guys more of the racing. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.